Hello, old school developers. Today we are going to finalize our authentication flow. We need to, to do the last step in the all this security stuff. So the plan is to write the authentication filter. That filter is necessary because we need to get we need some class that will work before each request to our application, and that will check that JWT token exists, it's valid, the user inside of this token is present into the database, and we need to inject this user into the security context of our Spring Boot application. So that is the last part that is necessary for the security, and I hope we will implement it during the next hour. We will need to fix some of the tests. We will need to fix the security config as well. So yeah, that's plan for today. My name is Dima. I am software engineer with almost 15 years of experience. I'm showing here the whole development process from the scratch. We are writing car maintenance tracker application based on the Java 25, the latest Spring Boot 4.0. We use Postgres as a database, and we use Redis as a distributed cache. Currently, we are storing all codes in the Redis. So yeah, that's our application. The idea is to build the REST API together with the Open API specification, and the plan is to build the custom ChatGPT and integrate it with our REST API using this Open API specification. So this is the original idea. Not sure if it will work at the very end, but we will test it. Yeah, so let's move forward and quickly implement this authentication filter. So it should be in the users module. So because authentication is strongly connected with the users, let's add the package for the filters. Filter should be JWT Authentication filter, I think, and it should implement. One moment. It implements once per request filter, I think. That is extends, and yeah, we need to implement this method. This should be the component, I think. So what can be here? We get the request, and inside of the request we are looking for the authorization header. There is a HTTP headers class in the Spring Boot, and we can use authorization constant right here. So this is the header. So if header I'm thinking about one moment. So if there is no header, and if it doesn't start with the barrier, we just need to proceed, right? No sense to do anything else. So we can say that filter chain, do filter, and provide request and response, and that's it. Nothing else. Okay, so if we have IntelliJ knows something, look, this is the token first symbol index. Okay. What I don't like is that IntelliJ adds the comments. It's absolutely clear from this part of the code that we are extracting the JWT token from the header. I don't need such amount of comments. Take a look. Why? Thank you, IntelliJ. Thank you. Yeah, we have the JWT token utils that we implemented a few sessions ago, I think, and we can inject it right here. I think it's Spring Bean, right? Yes, it's Spring Bean. So, and we need to extract validate token. Should be something here. Extract the username. Actually, the username is the email in our case. Extract user email, maybe. Extract claims. So we are parsing the token right here. We are getting the payload. Get the payload. Yeah, and the subject claim should be our email, actually. Why is it subject? Yeah, it should be subject. Another way, I think, to get it back is to extract all the claims, and inside of the claim, we can get the key, for example. We can say that get email or something like that, but the subject should be the same as the email. In our case, it should be the same, I hope. We will test, we have the integration test, and we will validate if it is working as we expect. Okay, let's go back. So we need to get the user email. This is the user email. So what do we need to do is maybe another check that we need to add, that security context get context holder, get context, get authentication. If this not null, we need to proceed as well. So that means that user is already authenticated and no sense to validate anything else. So if user email is not null, so what we need to do is we need to load the user. So we need to get the user. We need to inject the user details service, I think. User details service. Yeah. And we need to load the user by the user email. So if user not found, it should throw the exception. Yeah, user not found exception right here. So we don't need to check. Thank you, IntelliJ. So we need to validate that our token, user details, and JWT token, the data inside is the same. So the simplest way is to validate the emails, for example. inside of the token. It's more or less the same, but in the best case, maybe I think it's not a correct validation we wrote before, because we already extracted the email and loaded the user by the email. Maybe it makes sense to check some other fields, right? So for example, we can check the IDs. So we can extract claims by the user or from the token. This is the claims. Here we can get the ID. This is the user ID that we put here. Can I get it as, oh, there is a get ID. This is the ID. ID is something different. So maybe we need to set the ID like this. What is this? Let's Google quickly. What is it? Unique identifier for the JWT. No, it's not what we need. This is the, we need the unique identifier of the user, right? So, and that is what we need to take. ID is long, so we need to say, please return the long value. Okay, and this is the long. So, and we need to validate that the ID, or maybe user details. User details doesn't have an ID. Authorities. Do we really need the user details service right here? Maybe we can use the simple internal user service. And we can find by email. We can get the optional user. This is the optional user. Maybe we can do even better. This can be the user, and here we can throw the exception, the user not found. New user not found exception. User not found by email. Yeah, like this. Okay, so we have the user. Change the type. And here we can this is not the user detail, just user. And here we can compare the user get ID and the ID from the token. And also we need to validate that token is not expired. So that's better. So we found the user by the email. We assure that emails are the same, and we check the ID of the user that will never change from the ID inside of the token. So, and if this matches, that means everything is fine. Okay, let's go back to the filter. So if the token is valid, what we need to do is we need to set the we need to create the auth token set the details and put this token into the context. So for simplicity, I'm going to use the username and password token, this one. But in the best case, we need to implement our own, or maybe it makes sense to use the Spring authorization server, but I don't want it to overcomplicate it and decided to write this by my hands. Aha, that is why we needed the user details. Right now, we don't have any authorities as far as I remember user details. User details mapper. It's just empty list. So, and I don't even know if we use it somewhere. I know that we use it to generate the token, but is it really necessary? Yeah, this one for the tests. Maybe we can get rid of this part of the logic. It looks overcomplicated, but let's finish the filter first. We will take a look that tests are green, and then we can refactor it a little bit. So we create the token. This is the username authentication token and so on. We need to set the details, and it would be something like request remote. No, as far as I remember, there was a method to build from request. Here it is. Okay, and we need to set the security context, something like that. So let me take a look. There are a couple of exceptions can be thrown, I think, while we are validating the expiration date. No, there is no exceptions, I think. Okay, we will take a look. So the last thing is we need to do the following, just to say to the filter to proceed the request handling. Okay, let's go back to the security config. We need to remove from here everything related to the cars. It should be hidden. So only the users with the valid JWT token should be able to access those endpoints. So authentication provider. Let me remember. Why do we need it? I don't remember, if to be honest. Let's take a look. So we can inject the authentication filter right here. JWT authentication filter. And we want to say that execute this filter before the username and password authentication filter. This is the default filter provided by the Spring security, and we want to execute our filter right before this one and set the security context if it is needed and so on. And in such way, user password authentication filter just will be skipped. Okay, let's go back to our car controller integration tests. What is going on? looks like IntelliJ switched back to the community edition, and I lost all the magic from the all the Spring support for the project. I will take a look after the stream, but it will be enough for us to finalize everything, I think. So I just cleaned and installed the project once again to generate all the necessary stuff, all the interfaces, converters, and so on. And let's try to execute our tests. So as you remember, I removed the car-related endpoints from the excluding. So this is the all endpoints that I permit to access without the JWT token. And the cars provide the token in every request, as you can see, for example, here. And let's take a look if we get into the filter, authentication filter right here. Yeah, we are inside, so we get the header, as you can see. Come on. As you can see, this is the header. We extracted the JWT token, so it's the string without the barrier. So we got the user email from the token, this one. It's not null, so we loaded the user by the email. Here it is. So we did the validation. So let's take a look. We got all the claims. Inside of the claims, you can see that this is the subject. It's the same as an email. This is the ID that we compared. And it's the same as ID in the user. So it's valid. So we created the token and put it into the security context. So inside of the endpoint, this is the car controller delete, as far as I remember. Update, delete. Here it is. Let's put the breakpoint. So filter finished, and we get inside into the controller layer. And for example, we can take a look on the security context holder. So this is the authenticated user. So the authentication principal is just email, and that's it, nothing else. So we can put the user inside of the token with all the details. Maybe it makes sense, but right now it's not necessary. And if it will be necessary, I think we will extend our code later. But in general, it's not so complicated. I think we can do it somewhere here. This is the user. We can create, for example, our own authenticated token and set it to the context. So it shouldn't be complicated. And take a look once again. The security context holder. So authentication is the user password authentication token. And inside, it's the principal. And if you take a look inside of this code, the principal is the object. And how can we set it? We can create it like this. We can put the user inside, for example. So there are different ways how to create the token, this authentication token. Oh, there is even a factory method. something like that. Authenticated, and we can provide what? The principal, the credentials, and the authorities. It's the same as we did. So we can put the user, for example, here. This is the password, and this is the list of the roles. And let's take a look once again. So right now the user will be inside of the authentication. But in the best case, maybe it makes sense to put something else right here. One moment. So we are inside of the controller layer once again. So we can take a look what is inside of the security context holder. So this is the same, but as the principal, there was an email originally, but right now this is the object, this is the user entity. But as for me, it's not a good idea to use the user entity as the principal. Maybe it makes sense to use our user details. It would be better. So authenticated user details, I think. There is the ID as well, so it should be fine. Yeah, let's go back to the filter, and I think we can use something like user details mapper, and put the user details inside of the user into the token. It should be better. I don't want to expose the user entity to other modules of the project, so we will use some DTO class. That is what's supposed to use for all the authenticated users inside of the Spring Security application. Okay, let's take a look on our tests. I hope everything is green, and I think we will need to write a few more tests to validate that we can't access those endpoints without the token, for example. We can't access with the expired token, for example, and so on. So the build is green, everything is fine. By the way, I merged this branch already. Let's quickly create another one. One moment. We need to shelf our changes first, then I will need auth filter. Why only 2 of them? So I want to shelf all of this. Auth filter. So yeah, that one I can remove. I want to update the main branch. Yeah, I want to fetch all the changes. This branch does not exist anymore. So I want to create a new. So auth filter. Now we can unshelf our changes. Yeah, that's better. And rebuild the project. So what changes are here? This is the formatting only. This is the whole filter. We changed the utils a little bit, and as you remember, we removed the cars endpoints from the public access. I think this one can be removed. We don't need it anymore. Add authentication. authentication filter. Push the changes and let's go to take a look into the tests. So, what I wanted to check. I can show you parameterized tests. I think we didn't use it yet. So let me show you. This should return 401 if no JWT token provided. So, and here we need to provide the URI and HTTP method, I think, and that's it. So we need to say the mock MVC, please do the request even without the token, and I think we don't need to provide even the payload or something like that, because the filter should work first and it will check that there is no token and it should return the unauthorized, I think. We will take a look. Is unauthorized. And yeah. So this should be parameterized test. And we can say that, let me remember. Source. There is should be the argument source, I think. That is method source, I think. That is what I wanted to use. So args, I want to say that there is a method. Thank you, IntelliJ. Arguments. It should be argument of, I think. Arguments of. Yeah. And this one. I think we have the car controller API. This is the create. This is the update, pass update. This is the pass delete. And this is the pass find by user ID. Okay. I need to change the formatting. I don't like to see the static methods on the very top. Okay, let's try to execute this test. Something is wrong, but as you can see, there is 4 tests instead of just 1. This is the arguments. The first argument is the URI, and the second one, it's strange. It's strange. It's not strange. Yeah, the URIs are correct. Let's take a look what is wrong. Not enough variable available to expand the user ID. Makes sense. Here we can provide some additional variables. So pass variables. So we can provide it right here. And for those methods, we need to, for example, the update requires the user ID and car ID. Here in the delete, we need to provide the user ID and car ID as well. Here the user ID only. Here the user ID. I wanted to change it a little bit because I wanted to remove this prefix, because you can take only your cars. You cannot access the cars of another user, for example. That is what I wanted to change. It doesn't make sense to add this prefix right here. So I changed the endpoints to the following, just simplified it. So, and here we need to provide the car IDs. It could be just maybe one. It doesn't matter. Not authorized. Should be. Yeah, this one. Let's try once again. What happens if there is no token? Doesn't work. No parameter resolver. It doesn't want to work like this. Let's use the car ID right here. We don't need any more parameters. Not sure if it will work for the methods without the car ID. We will take a look. It doesn't. It doesn't. Okay. I don't want to add the if statements or something else. I'm going to split those tests to those that contains the car ID into the pass, and those that doesn't have. Should return for 1 if no token provided. This one should be without car ID. Without car ID. Without car ID. So this one should contain car ID. And those ones without car ID. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay. Looks good. It executed both tests, as you can see. So we validated this part. Just wanted to check other tests. Something is wrong with other tests. Yeah. I removed the user ID from the pass, and I need to remove it here as well. Yeah, sometimes it happens. The user ID once again. user ID, user ID. Too many user IDs. We have a lot of tests. Okay, should be better now. Hi, Coder Bro. I like that someone is writing some comments during my stream. It's motivating me. What's wrong? What is wrong? What? Missing password. Yeah, I removed the user ID, but removed it partially. I need to remove it right here as well. So this is the pass variable. One. The second one. The third one. And the last one. Here it is. And we need to remove it from the controller methods as well. And rebuild the project. We need to get the user ID. I can show you. There is a security context holder. This is the authentication. So we can get the details. This is our authenticated user details actually. We can extract it to the method, I think. Don't know, shortcut doesn't work on Windows to extract the method. Don't know why. Get current user. It should return the authenticated user details. Okay. And we can use it like this. Current user. The current user ID, I think. This is the record. And should be the same in other places. One of the, downside, not downside, but one of the aspects that I don't like in the Maven generator is that I cannot write my own. I can show you one moment. I can show you. Let me rebuild it quickly. This is the controller that is generated from the YAML file. As you remember, we did it on the previous sessions. But if you write the controllers by your hands without any generation, you can do something like that. Authenticated principal. And inject the authenticated user details like this. But Maven generator plugin doesn't support this syntax. Unfortunately, I like this style of code when you can inject the authentication principle directly into the controller method. But I cannot use it, unfortunately, and I have to do something like that. IntelliJ. No? Or what do you want from me? It can be null, so what? The authentication can be null. Yeah, thank you, IntelliJ. You know, it would be strange if authentication would be null. Okay, maybe something like that. We need to throw the exception. Bad credentials exception, something like that. Yeah, maybe I need to extract this piece of code to some util class, but we will do it next time when we will need to reuse this part in some other controller. So let's keep it simple. So we updated everything right here, and let's take a look on our tests. I think it will be fine. Almost fine. What's wrong? Class cast. Okay, let's take a look. So authentication, this is the principal. This is the details. Come on, we need to get the principal. That is correct. Thank you, integration tests. The integration tests helped me a lot, if to be honest. As you can see, I can find these bugs so quickly using the integration tests. I'm making mistakes all the day, a lot of mistakes, but as you can see, I can catch a lot of different problems using my integration tests. Okay, so refactor cars API, add tests. Yeah, we can add more tests. If to be honest, in my daily job, I would write something more, but I think it's good enough for our side project. Let's create the pull request, add authentication filter, like this. So let's start our GitHub actions. It will validate that everything is green. Project can be built. All the tests are green, and so on. And then we will be ready to merge our pull request. In general, we finished the authentication part, so we have the login, two-step login process when the user get the email with the auth code and can exchange this auth code to the JWT token. And then the front end can use the JWT token to access our cars API, for example, and we are sure that the user without the token cannot access those endpoints. So this is the very basic security flow. In real life, it could be much more complicated with the different roles, with the different permission checks, and so on and so on. In the best case, we need to use the public and private keys to generate JWT token. But in general, this is the authentication flow that will work good enough for our use cases, and there is no it's no sense to spend more time to implement something more complex, in my opinion at least. We need to check the idea if the ChatGPT will be able to trigger our first of all login flow, and then add the JWT token that he will get back and send the request to the car API with this JWT token. So our CI is green, tests are green, and I think we can merge our pull request to the main branch. So I wanted to remind you that this project is open source, so you are free to clone the project, to take a look on the authentication implementation and other aspects that we already implemented right here. If you like the content, if you want to follow the process and see what we will get at the very end, please subscribe to my channel. Please set the star to my GitHub repository and the like button, and see you maybe on Wednesday. Not sure, those streams are not so popular. I'm thinking about trying another type of the content, but we will see. So maybe I will continue it on Wednesday. So probably we will need to add some deployment. We need to deploy this small piece of the project to some server in the internet and try to configure the custom ChatGPT and take a look if it is working idea or not. And then we will see. Yeah, your likes, your comments motivates me a lot to continue showing the process. And if you want to see it, please just put the like button and I will understand that I need to proceed. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.